Welcome back to Wipeout Australia. James Brayshaw with Josh Lawson, and we've narrowed our field from 20 to 12 in our qualifying round. So let's get to the leaderboard and see who's left. Still in the running is the astrologer Renee Gadd, the rock star Nick Cushion, and the nurse Irene Frangoulis.
Also still in the hunt, the rare breed Dan Ryan, Angus Fish Fingers Ingram, and parking cop Meredy Canduff.
Now it's time to turn these 12 into 6, and we're going to do this with the one-armed bandit we call the sweeper. Now in the past we've seen the sweeper crush the spirits of contestants with its single-fisted fury. This time we've decided to up the ante and double the fun. Behold, the Crusher.
Why the Crusher, James?
Well, the Crusher is a two-arm sweeper. With every rotation, the arms get tighter and tighter.
You're a sick man, Brayshaw.
But as an added bonus, we've given this Crusher some balls.
So it's a ball crusher? Get some help.
The rules of the sweeper are the same. 12 start, but only the last 6 standing will make it through to the last round. The very last person standing gets a $1,000 bonus for their trouble. Let's go down to the sweeper where the trash talk is flying thick and fast.
The pressure's on, Bella. You'll be out of the family. You'll be out of the family if you're going down.
Bella, you need your older brother to hold your hand.
All you South Australians out there, you suck. I want to see you in the water right now.
Fish Fingers still bragging about how big it is.
Tango is for girls!
And the rare breed giving it to Tango Tony, who's not impressed.
Siren sounds and we're underway.
Yeah,
Oh, and already the astrologer almost landing on a Sagittarius. Wonder if that was in a horoscope.
The ball-crushing sweeper saying how do you do to our field on its first pass. But after this, it's no more Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, and parking cop bumped and just hanging on, but we've lost our first. It's Will McKinnon.
Yes, we see the parking cop having a bumper tickled, but it's Will McKinnon who exits first.
He was probably terrified of our ball crusher as it continues on its merry way looking for more victims.
And James, I'm delighted to report that parking cop is back on her feet. It's good to have you back, parking cop.
Oh, the rock star receiving an ankle tap.
And parking cop down again, and she's in big trouble as she hangs on for dear life.
But the party's over for the rock star as he checks out.
He lived hard, he played hard. Shine on, you crazy diamond.
No time for sentiment now, Josh, as we see the parking cop back on her feet again and clearing the bar.
Buff man looking strong, as does Tango Tony.
Oh, this is the toughest sweeper to date as the bar inches closer and closer together. And, oh, the astrologer takes a hit and she's down. And the parking cop's down as well. This time she's out.
Yeah, the astrologer caught stargazing, but extra points for creating the sign of the crab before crashing out. That's impressive. And then parking cop, with 2 flat tyres, face plants the pole, then fails to activate her airbags on impact. Let's see that again. And again.
And not this time, Lawson, as the sweeper continues.
And again.
That's enough, you maniac. The sweeper continuing now, and whoa! Fairy Tinkerbell's taken a huge hit. She's down.
It appears that Tinkerbell's wings were clipped as we see her smacking face first into the pole and biting the fairy dust.
She looked like she face planted pretty hard, Josh. Do you think she's going to be okay?
She'll be fine. She may just look a little different.
As the ball crusher continues.
6, yes!
Well, actually, it's 7, Buff Man, and the next one out leaves the competition. And it sounds like Sister Bella's in a bit of trouble.
That's right. Sounds like Sister Bella's lost all confidence.
Oh, and Sister Bella's been collected by the pole, and she's taken out her brother as they travel to another pole. He's upside down, hanging on. But she's gone, and he manages to stay on the pole. He's safe. Unbelievable.
This is amazing. As Sister Bella's carried by the pole into the path of her brother Luke, who then manages to hang on upside down as they travel to another pole. She falls, he stays in the game. Absolutely incredible.
That means we now have our 6 who'll go through to the next round.
Yes, James, and they are Tango Tony, Nurse Irene, Buff Man, Rare Breed, Fish Fingers, and Brother Luke.
Now we see the ball crusher whacking remaining contestants over the head. And Brother Luke gets hit. He's off balance and he's out.
Well, he's probably feeling bad about dropping his sister out of the game.
5 left in the sweeper. Last person standing takes home a grand. Nurse Irene collected. Oh, great work by the fingers, but the breed's gone.
We have got to look at that again. We see here Nurse Irene catching a bad dose of polfluenza. Fish Fingers, however, full of omega-3, manages to clear successfully, but not the Rare Breed, whose body had no defence against this virus.
as we continue with one of the best sweepers ever witnessed. And it's Fish Fingers, almost losing his block and tackle but managing to stay alive. Buffman shaken but not deterred. Fish Fingers hit again and struggling. And Buffman's hit and going down.
The Buffman want to see a replay?
Oh, yeah.
Does the Buffman want to see it again?
No way.
Only two remain. Tango Tony looking shaky, but Fish Fingers is down.
Fish Fingers casting, catching, then tossing himself back into the water.
That leaves Tango Tony as our winner.
Tango Tony for the win.
He wins the $1,000 and heads through to the next round. What's he going to do with the cash, Josh?
Well, hopefully buy some trousers.
And joining Tango Tony will be the Buffman Shannon Fowler as well as Angus Fish Fingers Ingram.
Also through is our nurse Irene Frangulis and brother Luke Leone, as well as the rare breed Dan Ryan.
And after the break, we'll send these six spinning off into a world of confusion as we strap them into the dizzy dummy. Welcome back to Wipeout Australia, where 6 survivors from the sweeper remain in the hunt for the Wipeout Championship and the $20,000 prize.
That's right, James, and they are the rare breed Dan Ryan, nurse Irene Frangulis, and dance instructor Tango Tony Leone.
Also through is Angus Fish Fingers Ingram, Buffman Shannon Fowler, and in a surprise twist, brother Luke Leone has retired from the competition, leaving his place to be filled by the next in line from the sweeper, who incredibly just happens to be his sister Bella.
And they'll all be facing the Dizzy Dummy, which I like to think of as a kind of medieval makeover machine that does your hair and rebags your lunch at the same time.
As we see the Dizzy Dummy getting underway, giving our contestants a glimpse of their first obstacle, the pole vault. The first one successfully across the poles goes straight into the wipeout zone.
Unfortunately, the rest have to spin again and then take on a new obstacle, the donut run.
And we've coated each donut with super slick grease, so expect plenty of spills.
This happens back and forth between the obstacles until we have our 4 contenders for the wipeout zone.
That's right, Josh, as we see our medieval merry-go-round going about its work. All right, release the dummies. And it's Tango Tony away first. The rare breed crab walking sideways, but it's Tango Tony easily across the first pole vault.
Robbie thinks it's a limbo pole.
Out of nowhere comes Buffman, but it's too little too late as Tango Tony hits the line to head straight into the wipeout zone.
Look here, James, we see Tango Tony looking to engage Buffman as his dance partner for the victory jig, but he's happy to settle for a solo cha-cha-cha.
Now it's back to the Dizzy Dummies for another dose of nausea in preparation for our new obstacle, the donut run.
And James, look at Buffman's intensity. Super buff, super focused, super nauseous.
Whatever he did, it's worked as Buffman hits the turbos, leaving the field scrambling in his wake. Oh, but he's got a little bit too much zip in the engine as he, and for that matter all the rest, slip off the super slippery donuts. Sister Bella, first back on her feet and deciding to opt for the taking it one donut at a time approach.
And this is our first look at Nurse Irene on donut number 1. That was, of course, until Buffman decided to use her as a buffer.
All's fair in love and wipeout, Josh. Buffman moving on and now getting cosy with Sister Bella. In fact, he's using it for leverage in preparation for his jump.
It's nice to see the chivalry's not dead.
Oh, Buffman comes up short again.
Use those long legs, Bella.
But at the opposite end of the scale, we see Sister Bella getting back on her feet. But she's tripped over her feet and fallen off.
There was a touch of the Tango Tonys in that footwork.
Nurse Irene back out of casualty now, but again Buffman bumps her in the bumper and she's not happy about it. Leaving the course wide open for Buffman. As he measures his jumps, he's looking very good now.
He's calling upon all his reserves of buffness before unleashing Hyper Buff.
Buffman joins Tango Tony in the wipeout zone.
Oh, yeah! Yes!
Leaving the 4 remaining contestants to battle it out for the last 2 spots as the Dizzy Dummy spins again.
Nurse Irene looking like she's about to dial 000. And isn't the rare breed enjoying himself?
Siren sounds, and thank God for that as they head back to the pole vaults. Fish Fingers looking a little green around the gills. Nurse Irene struggling, but Fish Fingers is across first.
And here comes the rare breed.
Too late, because Fish Fingers has fried the field and he's through to the wipeout zone.